It's that time of the year again when your loyalties would be tested. Virat Kohli going up against Jasprit Bumrah, Rohit Sharma coming face to face with Dinesh Karthik, Hardik Pandya under the pump when he goes against Bhuvneshwar Kumar. Is Indian T20 League the marquee event of the Indian cricketing calendar, and that it is happening amid the general elections in India and with World Cup to come. The implications of this league is huge. I am Vineet Ramakrishnan with James Alter for CricketCountry.com, and we will try to discuss all those angles. What are the implications? The top things on our agenda are workload management of all the World Cup bound players, players who could make it to the India's World Cup squad on the back of good IPL 2019, how the top expensive players could fare in this year, and who are the favorites to win this league. Chennai, Bangalore, Delhi, Punjab, it's anybody's take. So Jamie will kick things off with workload management. A lot has been talked about, and it's something that is being talked about every time the Indian T20 League coincides with the World Cup year. Saurav Ganguly said it's up to the players to manage. Tendulkar also echoed the same sentiment. So did Virat Kohli. Is it actually the players' call?
It's a very good question. I'm not so convinced about this line that it's up to the players, because traditionally in Indian cricket, we've never really seen things been up to the players unless someone actually gets injured. And let's face it, the IPL is a very intense tournament. It's some will say it's on par with international cricket. So I don't see many franchises agreeing to let players. I mean, look, for example, let's take Mumbai Indians. They won the league 3 times. They are a strong team to win it for a record 4 times. Can you see a team which has Jasprit Bumrah, Hardik Pandya and Rohit Sharma taking the risk of resting these players? While there's a lot of merit in resting players, it's going to be very tough for teams like that, high profile. These are big players. Are they going to go, 6-7 matches without one of these players sitting out? Highly unlikely. Like you said, the focus is the World Cup, and this is very different because India are actually looking like one of the favorites.
Yeah.
You speak to people, widely going, the top 2 teams are said to be England and India. And now Virat Kohli is captain. The last World Cup, he was not the captain. He's a batsman at the peak of his powers. He's number 1 in tests and one-day batsman. And really, every time he takes the field, India expect to win largely on the basis of what he does. So you need everyone having a good IPL to boost their confidence, but you need the workload management to be done in a very proper manner. How it's going to be done, really, we don't have the answer here. But you see, sorry to cut you off, you see 3-4 players get injured,
yeah,
and things are open.
This is my next question as well. You talk about someone like Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, Jasprit Bumrah, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, all have been injury free. But what about someone like Kedar Jadhav, Hardik Pandya, Mohammad Shami? All have been under the scanner with injuries. And you saw Kedar Jadhav, the last IPL he just played 1 game, had a hamstring injury and was out of the entire year almost. Hardik Pandya's back gave out during the Asia Cup. So that's a major worry for all these guys. It's not just about guys who are getting injured during the IPL, but there are people who have susceptibility against for injuries in these kind of games.
Absolutely, and I think you take Mohammad Shami's name. Here's a player who's had a history of injuries. The fact that he's just come off 2018 playing, throughout the year. He's had to put some off-field issues behind him, but he's a prime candidate for someone who's really broken the norm and stayed fit for a whole year, has now emerged as a viable, potentially new ball bowler. May even, if Shami, Bumrah and Bhuvneshwar all stay fit, he may end up knocking off Bhuvneshwar from India starting 11 come the World Cup. So he's one guy which has to be kept in cotton wool. Will his franchise do that? Highly unlikely. Hardik Pandya over the last year has missed 2-3 marquee series because of a back problem. KL Rahul has injury issues. Virat Kohli has had back problems. He's fought that to go to England, has not been silent with injury since then. But it's one injury away from what happens if India lose Shami. Heaven forbid they lose Shami,
exactly. Virat
Kohli, one of the keepers. So really this IPL is shaping up as more than a team-to-team analysis. It's about, is this going to become the injured Premier League of all seasons? Because it's very key these guys don't get injured. It's a high profile. You play a match, you go to the hotel, you shower, you're on the flight again. So it's off field, on the field, a lot of issues for India and also for the other teams to worry about as well.
And also other teams you talked about, someone like Loki Ferguson, who will be playing for KKR, another vital cog for New Zealand. Rashid Khan, Afghanistan's premium bowler. There are a lot of international players as well, Kagiso Rabada and others as well. So workload management for them also would be key. The boards will also be looking at these players playing all the games or being rested. The injury radar would be very strong on these players as well.
Yeah, I'd be very interested to know, if any, what kind of correspondence has gone on between the boards and the various teams to the franchises. No franchise wants to sit out their star players. It's a high-profile tournament. The stakes are immense, and teams really want to win the IPL. You have teams like Delhi who never got to the final before. Each season they have, on paper at least, very good team, but somehow for whatever reason they never managed to go the distance. They wouldn't want to rest out their players. England, just today, Joss Butler and Ben Stokes arrived in Jaipur. Two superstar England players on whom Rajasthan's form really depends. Are they going to play all the matches? Maybe, maybe not. So really, every major team at the World Cup is going to be watching their players. Some teams haven't even sent a lot of their players. A lot of key Australia players aren't here. They're being wrapped in wool. Australia are the defending champions in the World Cup. ODI force, they fall into number 6, but they've just beaten India 3-2. So all the more, they'll be juiced up for the World Cup. So again, I think this whole IPL, a lot of talk is going to be dominated around fitness of players.
Glenn Maxwell, Aaron Finch and Mitchell Starc, 3 Australian players who have decided not to play the Indian T20 League just because they want to be fit for the World Cup. But what this workload management really gives opportunities for fringe players to really show their potential. And next thing that we will discuss are players who could make it to India's World Cup squad on the back of good Indian T20 League. For me, it's Shreyas Iyer who leads that tally. Then there is Dinesh Karthik in and out of the Indian team, but because Rishabh Pant has not been able to seize those opportunities that he was given, so DK's name comes back into contention. Then there is Ravindra Jadeja, the 16th player in that squad. Yep. You really don't know how he gels with that team, how he gets himself into that team, but somehow he manages to do that. Then there are 2 pacers, left armer Khalil Ahmed and Umesh Yadav. Your take?
Yeah, look, I think for me, starters would be the second wicket keeper slot. We know that MS Dhoni is the first choice keeper, and fitness permitting, he's going to play every match India plays. The fact that Dinesh Karthik was not in India's most recent ODI squad against Australia implies that Rishabh Pant is the guy for the job. Yeah. But he didn't do anything with the bat, and his keeping, especially in the 4th ODI, was for everyone to see there were problems. He fumbled a take, he missed a stumping, and then he failed to collect a throw which could have run out. I think it was Peter Handscomb. So question marks are already on Rishabh Pant the batsman and Rishabh Pant the wicketkeeper. Now, are you looking at Pant for the World Cup as a keeper or a batsman? He'll only play if Dhoni gets injured. Right. Dhoni does not get injured very often. So Pant is one thing. Dinesh Karthik has been in the ODI squad over the last 18 months to 2 years. He's been in and out. Didn't play the last one because he didn't get enough scores. But he's a guy, he's a proven player, has won matches for his state at the IPL level and even for India. So to my mind, and we talked about this before, if Dinesh Karthik has a 500-run season and let's say Pant has a 300-run season, I see Dinesh Karthik really jumping back in the queue.
And also Dinesh Karthik, since 2017 Champions Trophy, he has played 17 ODIs, 425 runs at 47.22 average. He's got the numbers, and he was KKR's leading run getter last year as well. He has the captaincy also, and it's just a complete package. If he can lead this KKR team with example, as a captain, as a batsman, DK is a sure shot.
Batting, keeping and leadership. If he excels in these 3 things, it's not so much about how KK or where they end up, but if he maintains himself, look, he's fit. He's one of the fittest players for his age. Superb wicketkeeper. Unfortunately, his career at the India level has been stalled because of Dhoni's presence. That we all know that. But Dinesh Karthik, and even like you said, Ravindra Jadeja, again, was not in India's final ODI squad until Hardik Pandya got injured. The fact that he's the first all-rounder who comes back in means that he is right there. If not in the 15, he is number 16, like you said. The issue is, where do you see him? As a spinner, you already have Kuldeep Yadav and Chahal, who as a pair have taken India to a lot of success in the games. In the last 5 matches, Chahal only played 1 match, while Jadeja played. But Virat Kohli has said that every time Hardik Pandya is not around, our balance gets upset, so we have to change it around. That, to my mind, is why Jadeja played. Come the World Cup, are you going to pick him as a spinner on its own? Not not likely. His batting is nothing great in one day.
Exactly.
As a fielder, he's perhaps one of the best in the world, and he can bring in individual moments that win matches. But you're not going to pick a Jadeja in a World Cup for his fielding.
And plus, with Vijay Shankar impressing so well in the limited amount of time that he has got, do you really need a third all-rounder in Jadeja for the World Cup squad?
Highly unlikely, because as we've seen, look, Ambati Rayudu was a player identified by Shastri, Kohli and Rohit Sharma, of all people, as India's number 4 for the World Cup. Over the last 9-10 months, he got a lot of chances, the most chances at number 4. But then 3 poor scores against Australia, and he doesn't make the 11 for the 4th and 5th games. They tried Virat Kohli at 4 one match, and then they tried Vijay Shankar at 4. Vijay Shankar, to my mind, forget the bowling, he's good for 4 or 5 overs. His batting has come along in leaps and bounds in the last few matches he's played. He could potentially, like we've discussed before, and as many others have pointed out, he could really pip Ambati Rayudu to the number 4 slot, at least for the first few matches. I don't know whether the team has suddenly lost faith in Rayudu. Again, a good 500-run season for CSK, and he's back at number 4. So that number 4 slash third opener and the third all-rounder are the 2 issues for India.
Sticking to number 4, Shreyas Iyer's name, Jamie, has not really come up, and why is that?
Look, I think the fact that Shreyas Iyer and Rahane have not played an ODI in over a year since the South Africa tour in February 2018 is one big factor. I think perhaps they both got a raw deal. I think you look at Rahane's numbers at number 4, it's actually very good. Perhaps the strike rate was an issue. But Iyer to me is a fantastic option for the future, and most likely post the World Cup, when a couple of people move on or are phased out, he is probably at the front to slot in. He's had very good numbers across formats for his state team and in the IPL and also for India A. He's young, he's enthusiastic. You know, he showed in his brief stint with the Indian team that he can hit the big shots. I think he averaged pretty good as well. So again, you know, someone like him captaining a team like Delhi, who on paper are fantastic. If he has a good 500-600 run season, he could also become your 16th player in the squad, to my mind.
So crucial Indian T20 leagues for Shreyas Iyer and Dinesh Karthik. And before we wrap up, one final topic that we would discuss: who are the favourites to win the league? Chennai are the defending champions. Mumbai, look, going by the pattern, they should be winning this year as well. This year, Bangalore, again, solid team. Virat Kohli, that's one bane that you would say in his thing, that he has not been able to lead his franchise to a victory. So who are your favourites looking?
Look, you really have to look beyond the firepower of the batsmen and the explosiveness of batting units to the teams that have very good bowling. The last couple of seasons, I believe that Sunrisers Hyderabad have a very balanced bowling attack. Shakib Al Hasan right now is not 100% fit. He may not start the IPL for a week or so. But again, you have Bhuvneshwar, you have Stanley, you have Rashid Khan and Mohammad Nabi.
Yeah.
Someone like Nabi always, you know, though he's a more senior player in the Afghanistan team, he's really been sort of sidelined to an extent by Rashid Khan, who's a fantastic one. I think he's top ranked bowler in T20 or somewhere up there right now. But with Shakib Al Hasan not fit, Mohammad Nabi should be a starter for the first at least few matches. And these two, you know, that depth, and even Chennai, you know, I mean, last season they were written off as Dad's Army, blah blah blah. They went and they won the blooming league. So again, captain by Dhoni, a lot of experience there. If these two teams can stay fit, I know Mumbai Indians have also a very good bowling attack, but the batting has been suspect.
Yeah.
Glad to hear that Rohit Sharma finally said that, bahut ho gaya. I'm going to now bat as an opener. He's an opener for India, phenomenal record, and his best chance for Mumbai Indians are when he bats at number 1. These 3 teams, RCB again, you know, even when they had Gale, De Villiers and Kohli batting like $1 million, they couldn't win it because the bowling is suspect.
Yeah.
So to my mind, the top 3 teams would still be Sunrisers, Mumbai Indians and CSK.
And anyone from Punjab, Delhi?
Look, Delhi, every season on paper, you know, they spend big, they get these explosive players. It never works. I mean, I don't know how many times they've been the wooden spoon holders. If it all works out again, but again, you know, player management, your bowlers, mixed team, some young guys, you know, they have Prithvi Shaw and Shreyas Iyer and, you know, Colin Ingram, big hitters, but again, somehow that team doesn't inspire much confidence in me. Sorry, Delhi fans.
So that's it from us for this video. 3 main things to look forward to this league is the workload management of the players, how the fringe players could stake a claim for the World Cup, and of course, Dhoni's and Kohli's making this league memorable. The league starts this Saturday with defending champions Chennai taking on Sunrisers Hyderabad. We will have all the coverage for you, bringing to you from cricketcountry.com. We have all the reviews, previews of individual teams, do log on to cricketcountry.com. Till then, goodbye.